Cane Sting.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Junior and the Big Dog, your favorite father and son duo covering Miami Hurricanes football and sports. How about them Canes, baby?
I was first off. It's all about the you guys, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Junior, Junior at least has a voice. Big Dog's voice sort of lost it a little bit. Yesterday at about 3 something in the afternoon, Big Dog had a conniption, just went crazy when we got that touchdown pass to give us the ball game. Huge win. We needed it in the worst way. Just tremendous game to pull out. A game that, I mean, you can really make a case. We were getting outplayed for a majority of the game. And it's nice being on the other side of that. It's nice being on the other side of us stealing a game from somebody else instead of us, hey, we outgained them by 150 yards, but we lost. This was the one that we were outgained. They actually had the better of it, other than the turnovers. They had the better of it, and we pull it out at the end on the road against a good team, a good Pittsburgh team. Huge win, and we needed that in the worst way. Hopefully they use it as a springboard to go forward, but we shall see. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're new with us, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. It really does help us with the algorithm, and please comment. And thank you. And also visit our Facebook page. And Junior, so how are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling good, man. Just a quick roll call for the people that are in here. Guzman, Chris, Taz, Dreadlock, Chris, Yellow, 265, Billy, Jason Arnold, Jared Watts, Greg Bush, Martin. How's it going, Martin?
Martin joining us all the way from Botswana. Thank you, Martin, for being here.
Absolutely. This is the good thing about Sunday mornings, Martin. You could actually join us on the live streams. But Tabardine, Lewis, who else we got? Carrie, Andy. Yeah, man. Listen, guys. Yeah, happy Sunday. I mean, this is a great feeling compared to last week. That's for sure. I think, obviously it was an exciting finish. It was an ugly game throughout, but we're gonna get into the topics and things that we like, things that we didn't like. But I saw a lot of negative. I want to say negative, but just a lot of people nitpicking after a win. And man, can the Canes family just enjoy a win for at least like 24 hours
without bickering?
Without bickering, and without just calling this out. We got a $2 donation from Billy P. He says he still wants to see Martell play quarterback. I don't know about that medical leave, man. That medical leave to me is a little suspicious. Not sure what's really going on there, but there are.
How about Jared missing Wednesday's practice?
That's another thing, man. That's another thing.
I have a theory on that, but go ahead.
Yeah. HJS Cranes, he says, great win, but why are we still see this win? I don't disagree with dancing in the locker room, HJS Canes, because it was an emotional victory. It came down to the end, and I mean, listen,
I do understand your point, HJS, for sure. Because they definitely should have been dancing after Central Michigan, but this one I do understand is a little different.
Yeah,
Junior's point.
Right, exactly. And we've had so many close games, and it's come down to one possession or two possessions, and we haven't been pulling them out. So the fact that I think Manny did something with an actual chain, like a bike chain type of thing. There's something going on there that I guess he tried to do, saying that, listen, we bend, we don't break. Everybody has to be together. So I think there's something he did there with a steel chain link. And I saw him, in the locker room saying that he thinks that the team might have turned a corner yesterday, and they pulled off. Manny's been talking about it a lot in his pressers, saying that we're a player or two away from being, 5-2, 6-1. Even 7-0,
which I am tired. I'm tired of saying it and I'm tired of hearing it.
No, but my point is just
because we're 4-4. That's where we are.
I get it. But my point goes to why I'm okay with them celebrating this win and dancing in the locker room is because finally, we're down late, less than 2 minutes to go, and we ended up actually, coming through and punching it in there, similar to the way that Nkosi did against Virginia. It was the Virginia game and this game was very similar in a few ways. Not just the fact that it was a low scoring game and our defense came to play yet again, especially being how much Pitt throws the football. I think our secondary did a lot better. Our tackling was a lot better. Last week we missed 29 tackles.
We still missed more than we should, though, yesterday.
No, I get it, but
our tackling still isn't what it needs to be.
It's not, but it's an improvement from obviously what we saw last week, which is not saying much, frankly. But I think, I'm going to go over some of the PFF grades for our top 10 players yesterday that performed well according to Pro Football Focus. And you'll see there wasn't a lot of missed tackles. So that's something that was promising to see. Some other quick takes I take away from the game. We came into the game worried about the offensive line, rightfully so. And, Pitt's pass rush is one of the best in the nation. They get after the quarterback, and we gave up only 2 sacks. So that's something that was promising as well. We've seen a little bit of improvement. Mind you, I think
run blocking was still
run blocking, and we're getting rid of the ball. We're trying to get rid of the ball much quicker because of our offensive line. So I think there could have been more sacks, but we did get rid of the ball. And Nkosi escaped out of a couple, threw the ball away. So it's still. I know it was only 2 sacks, but there's still improvement that needs to be seen on the offensive line. But considering Pitt's pass rush, I was thinking we were going to give up 6, 7 sacks. I thought it was going to be ugly, and we didn't see that. So I think there was maybe slight improvement on the offensive line. Zion still missing clear rushes, man. They're just beating him off the ball, and it could hurt our quarterback. You saw Perry kind of freak out when the rusher got a hand on him and then took that sack, but that was just a blown block completely by Zion. So we keep on seeing some of those. Yeah. But DJ Ivey made up for his week last week with 2 interceptions. I believe he had 2 tackles. So that was nice to see. Zach McCloud, I think, played amazing. One of those interceptions from DJ Ivey. If it's not for Zach McCloud, it's not, Ivy. It's not. Yeah, exactly.
It's a reception in front of Ivy.
It's a reception, right? So Zach McCloud should have gotten at least partial time with that turnover chain, in my opinion, because he made a great play on that ball, and it was nice to see him. He looked good. I think I only saw him miss 1 tackle in the backfield, but besides that, man, he played really well, and I think he got banged up, and that's when he got taken out of the game for a little bit. So I know he got a little bit banged up, but I think this might be his last game, being that it was his 4th. So in order for him to keep that red shirt, he cannot play another game this season. So we could have Zach McCloud. Next year. And I think it's going to be important to have him, frankly, with leadership and, and having just a senior back there. It's gonna really benefit our young guys. But I think that was promising. What about you, Big Dog? What are some of your takes? I know I covered a lot there, so I might have taken some from you, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Al Blades tweeted out something about people that were critical of DJ, and I really, as a kid, I liked DJ Ivey, and I think he did a really good job of redeeming himself. But one thing what he needs to learn, and Al Blades needs to learn, is that Georgia Tech loss is in the books. So you don't get to replay that. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he bounced back is awesome, but that Georgia Tech L, he's still wearing. Because that's the thing about football. You can't just go, well, hey, I had a good game today, so that erases what I did in the past. That's not the way it works. Mm. Okay? So I'm sure if you ask, Tom Brady has 6 Super Bowls. He's still mad about the other 3 that he could have gotten. Okay, so the fact that he did bounce back doesn't take away from what he did in that Georgia Tech game. But I'm really happy for the young man that he did bounce back, had 2 interceptions, big game. Jaron also, obviously, Jaron came in and did a fantastic job. Not just the last pass that he just zipped into KJ. The run for a first down was huge. So there was, he really led us, and I started feeling that old feeling again of that last, and you and I talked during that last possession. I felt that last possession confident that we were going to come back and win, and that's a nice feeling to have. That's the last possession, not before. I was not feeling all that confident before. Great game. KJ did have that one bad drop that almost ended up in an interception.
Hey, we got orange and green blood. Cohen.
Oh, Cohen. It's all about the U, Cohen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Gooseman brings up a point. Brevin, we need to get Brevin in the game more. We need to run plays.
But like I said, before I think
okay, let's talk about the positives.
Let's talk about the good first, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the negative.
All right, KJ made a big play there at the end. Had a good game overall. Like I said, he did have that one drop that almost hurt us, but he played a heck of a game. Offensively, the offensive line, our run blocking still is not where it needs to be at all. Cam Harris, I thought, did a pretty good job with very little run blocking. I would have liked to see Robert Burns more, especially on short yardage.
He only had one
carry for like 4 yards that he got on that carry. But that 3rd and 1, that should be Robert Burns. That should have been Robert Burns' handoff, because this is a guy who can make his own hole.
Hey, speaking of what's going on, Big Nasty 305 Damien. Speaking of Cam Harris, man, he showed me some real toughness.
Yeah,
and on that last drive, man, he had a big run
with that big hurdle.
He showed me some toughness, man, because it looked bad when he went down, and I was worried. And but he came back in the game, man, showed real toughness and ran the ball hard. So hats off to Cam Harris, man. It's nice seeing that toughness, and he's a baller, no doubt.
Absolutely. Let's see. Defensively, the other number 15, Mr. Superman Gregory Rousseau, the freak. Guy leads the ACC in sacks with 9. Might even be right. I mean, he is right up there in the entire country. And he's only played part-time for a good chunk of the season, which is ridiculous to me. But man, is he just been off the chain? 3 sacks yesterday. God, I'm just, you guys know that's been a guy that since he was in high school, I was crazy about when we got his commitment, and I started using him as an example of why the star system is full of it. Because and again, it's not just because their evaluation was different. It's artificially, because anybody that would have seen Gregory Rousseau's tape in high school would have gone, "Oh yeah, that's a 5-star," but he was a 3-star. But anyways,
Guzman says we should call him Gregory Daddy Long Legs Rousseau.
That's a good one, Guzman. I like that one. The Inspector Gadget nickname is pretty cool too. But he's just a freak of nature. He's unblockable. He's unstoppable. They're still misusing him. I do not want to see him in Viper. I do not want to see him at all at nose tackle anymore. You if you're going to use a NASCAR package, the guys that you want to tackle are your least dynamic pass rushers.
Right.
Okay, not your most dynamic pass rushers. So Gregory Rousseau gets double teamed every single time that he's at nose tackle. How about putting him at the end where he belongs? How about not using him in coverage? But I digress. We're talking positive still. Okay.
Yeah, we are.
So I'm not going to mention Blake Baker when I'm talking positives. But anyway.
Not yet, Big Dog. Not yet.
Yeah. Greg Rousseau, monster. Guy can't even be blocked. Plays with tremendous motor. Really good young man too. Man, I'm just so happy to see him flourish. Redshirt freshman, lost his freshman season due to the ankle injury. Comes back, has a little bit of a back issue in the fall camp, and for him just to do what he's done is amazing. There's not a player that I'd rather have on defense than Gregory Rousseau. I actually thought Shaq played better yesterday. I thought Shaq played better, although that one Kenny Pickett run the Kenny Pickett looked fast.
I was watching in slow motion, man.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too because it looks like Zach. Looks like Shaq is in the best shape of his career at Miami. I mean, we've never seen Shaq with abs prior to this year.
Yeah.
And coming into the year, he had abs. He was shredded.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, man.
In all fairness, Gregory Rousseau even talked about that Kenny Pickett's a lot more athletic than people think.
No, I know, but
he's a lot faster than people think.
But there wasn't just it wasn't just a Kenny Pickett run. It was who I think it was one of the times they ran the Wildcat that Shaq took a bad angle on it, and he just did not look fast, but Shaq did grade out as the best player for the University of Miami.
Yeah. Well,
yesterday,
I haven't seen those grades. Just so you guys know, I haven't seen those grades. Yeah. But I thought he played much better.
Yeah.
Madri said, "Good morning." What do you say, Madri? Go ahead and you can see the hits. Jerome Collins, the John McDonald. I see some Nazust, Carey. You see some other people. You see
if anybody is an HJS Canes was talking about it, how big of a game Bolden had, and we're gonna get into that as well. He was also one of the highest graded players in yesterday's game according to Pro Football Focus. But before I go ahead and get into the grades, man, because I did want to get into the grades for you guys, just so you guys get a snapshot. If you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Me and Big Dog are gonna be going live
that one turnover. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't want to. That one turnover was Bolden.
Oh yeah,
Bolden's the one that set it up. But go ahead. What were you saying, dude?
Anybody that's new here, if you're watching on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and check us out on Facebook, Junior and the Big Dog. Hit the notification bell every single Thursday at 7 p.m. Me and the Big Dog go live, and we're gonna start doing this every week as well. Going live at 11 in the morning on Sundays to recap. I mean, depending obviously on the game. If it's a Friday game, we'll go live probably early on a Saturday, but most of the time it's going to be a Saturday game, so we'll go live on Sundays. The following day we'll go live at 11 in the morning for you guys to break down our thoughts and our review and our reaction on the game prior. No paper bag for me. I guaranteed a W this past week, so I felt good. I wasn't feeling very, very good because throughout the game, so it felt like I was going to wear a paper bag on Thursday, but you know what? We did pull it out, and I remained confident to the very end, rightfully so. But whatever. With that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get into some grades here for you guys according to Pro Football Focus. If my computer cooperates with me, yeah. So Romeo Finley. All right, I'm going to go from 10 to 1. Romeo Finley got a 66.2 grade out of the striker position. He was credited with 5 tackles. And he earned an 80.2 tackling grade from Pro Football Focus. He was targeted once in coverage, and he only allowed an 8-yard reception. So he had a good game. Trayvon Hill, a 66.9 grade. He finished with 2 quarterback pressures on 24 pass rushing snaps, and he was credited with 1 tackle and 1 TFL. It's going down here. Nesta, Big Nasty. He had a 67.4 grade. Played only 23 snaps, but he did finish with 1 quarterback pressure. And while he
has always been our worry about Nesta. Yeah, no. It's not when he's on the field.
How long can you stay on the field?
How long can you stay on the field?
Exactly.
We have to get that endurance up. I understand he's coming off of an injury, so it's unfair to talk about it now.
Exactly.
But yeah, somebody brings out Lou Headley. Yeah, Lou Headley's been pretty close to our MVP.
We talked about it, Big Dog. We talked about thank God we have
automatic.
A punter.
The dude is automatic. I don't know if you guys saw
field, man.
Lou Headley, flips the field. Lou Headley is actually on the Ray Guy watch list. The Ray Guy Award is the award that they give to the best punter in the country. Lou Headley, they put him on the watch list. That shows you what an amazing job he's done in punting. His percentage of kicks inside the 20 is ridiculous. So Lou Headley's been amazing. He's been everything that we hope for and more. So go ahead.
So going down to KJ. KJ had a 68.8 grade.
BS. That grade's BS. It should have been higher than that. But go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He did have a couple drops. Pro Football Focus only gave him one drop, but he did have a couple drops.
I had only one drop. Yeah, but that out was like really he was outstretched.
But then Cozy put that ball only where he could catch it, and he didn't come down with it.
That one was a little bit
out.
To me, it was a little bit too far out.
It's something that he could have came down with.
He could have. Right. He could have come down with. Right.
And it did. I mean, it hit his hands, big dog. It hit his hands.
No, it did, but it hit the tips of his fingers. Basically, is where we got on it.
Well, I disagree. I thought it was a catchable ball. That goes as a drop for me. But he had 6 receptions for 94 yards, and obviously the game-winning touchdown.
Just so you guys know, Pro Football Focus. I've reviewed tape and I've seen some disparities in their grades, but I think it's a legitimate snapshot.
Though. 100%. I see some for example, you're gonna see that I think they actually said that Shaq had 12 tackles when in reality he had 7 tackles and 5 assist tackles. So technically it's not 12 total tackles just for Shaq. So sometimes their wording could be a little off, but what I like to do is I look at Pro Football Focus and then I look at the official stats of the game, and
they count tackles as solo or assisted. So they do combine them. Pro Football Focus.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you look at Pro Football Focus and you look at the official stats, you'll see Shaq had 7 tackles and 5 of them were assisted. But if you just look at Pro Football Focus, you're like, Shaq had 12 tackles. I mean, 5 assisted tackles is still great because he's making a play on the ball. So I'm not taking anything away from Shaq, but I'm just giving you a snapshot of not to just look at one thing to get your right. So at number 6, DJ Ivey, obviously the 2 pick, he finished with a grade of 70.4. He finished the game also with 2 tackles, and he allowed just 1 reception for 6 yards. His coverage grade was a 74.4 against Pitt, which is good. On that first interception, like we said earlier, McLeod did get a hand on it. If he didn't get a hand on it, it was going to be a completed pass. But whatever. Nonetheless, Ivy made a great play to go ahead and react to that ball after it was tipped by McLeod.
And stay in bounds.
Sometimes people say, they're 2 gimme interceptions. Well, sometimes, you know what? You got to be in the right place at the right time.
Correct.
I mean, that's part of football. So the fact that
as we've seen this year, you got to catch the damn ball.
You got to catch the ball. Exactly. Yeah. So number 5, Gervin Hall. He had a grade of 71. He finished the game with 3 tackles and 1 fumble recovery. That fumble recovery was the strip from Bubba Bolden. So Bubba Bolden should get half of that, half of the credit, half of the time with the chain, man. I think that's the way.
By the way,
that's the way it should go.
How about the play? And Sean Forbes says that's still 12. Yeah, when people use tackle totals, they always combine assisted and unassisted,
right?
And solo. So the 12 is legitimate. But one of the things that how about the fact that Bolden made that play as he's tackling and falling to the ground, he still has the presence of mind to strip with his right hand as he's coming down. You know what that shows me? There's levels, guys.
Mm-hmm.
A very, very good player makes all the plays that he should. A great player makes all the plays that he should and some that he shouldn't.
Right.
And that's the thing with Bubba is not only did he have good coverage, he makes the tackle, and as he's falling to the ground and twisting, he still has the presence of mind to strip with his right arm, with his right hand.
Exactly.
Tremendous play by Bubba.
100%. So going back to Gervin Hall, he played 55 snaps. He finished the game with 3 tackles and 1 fumble recovery, like we said on the Bubba strip. He was also credited with 1 missed tackle, but he only allowed 1 reception for 7 yards. Number 4, none other than number 20, man. Listen, this is a guy that anytime he's out there, he's not costing, us plays, man. And he's wrapping up.
It's time. It's time that we start giving it up for Robert Knowles.
You have to.
It's time that we start giving it up. That young man, and mind you, I understand what what's happened in the past. I get that, okay? And I know that this doesn't erase the past. But this season, that young man has balled.
He does. 100%.
He has balled, and he deserves the credit. And even in the past when he struggled, it's never been because of a lack of effort.
Lack of effort, right.
It's never been because of a lack of work ethic, because that young man is an absolute stud in the weight room. He gives you everything he has at Green Tree. He deserves the credit, and he's having a tremendous senior season. And man, we have to give it up to him, because now it's not one game, it's not two games.
We're seeing it on a consistent basis.
Tremendous
from Robert Knowles.
Robert Knowles, we have to give it up for Robert Knowles. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. He played 46 snaps. He totaled 3 tackles and allowed just 1 reception for 5 yards. And he didn't miss a tackle, and which is what I came in saying about Knowles, man. When Knowles is making a play on the ball, he's wrapping up very well, and he's tackling, and you don't see a lot of missed tackles from Robert Knowles, man. So I think he's been very solid for the secondary, and it makes me really happy to see it too, because
absolutely great kid.
Great kid.
Great
a
lot
of the
Eduardo, don't feel bad, buddy. You got plenty of company. You have plenty of company.
That's my point.
Criticizing him, and listen, and props to you, Eduardo, for owning up to it. There's been a lot of criticism, and some of it very warranted. So I'm not saying that, but the young man has developed. He has, and I'll tell you what, he's always been a stud athlete, because he puts in the time, he puts in the work. But man, it's nice to see. It's nice to see.
Yeah. So go ahead. You got to be happy for the kid, man. So at number 3, we had Jonathan Garvin. He had a grade of 71.5. He played a total of 51 snaps. He totaled 3 quarterback pressures on 26 pass rushing snaps, and he was also credited with 4 tackles during the game. So good game from Garvin. It's nice to see, man. We've been kind of, we expected to see a different Garvin. If I'm being completely honest, coming into the year, we thought, with the departure of Joe Jack, that he was really gonna take his game to another level. And I don't think we've seen that necessarily, but I also think that, we saw it in the Florida game, him playing a different role, spying on the quarterback. So there's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to Blake Baker and how he's utilizing, these young men. And I think, frankly, that has something to do with, the production of Garvin and why we haven't seen as many sacks as we thought we would from Garvin. But whatever, we'll get into that in a little bit. But let me go ahead and finish with these grades first. So Garvin had a solid game. Number 2, Bubba Bolden with a grade of 73.4. He finished the game with 4 tackles and obviously made that key play on that fumble that Gervin Hall picked up. Not picked up, actually caught in the air, frankly. When in coverage, he allowed just 1 catch for 7 yards. And frankly, I don't understand how Gregory Rousseau is not in his top 10 for Pro Football Focus, but he's not. Number 1.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Those are things, right? Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. That Pro Football Focus sometimes does stuff that's a head scratcher. And by the way, the infamous, I watched that entire tape of the Florida game. That infamous 0.0 grade that they gave Zion wasn't accurate.
It wasn't accurate.
It was not accurate. It was not accurate, because 0.0 means that he never won one matchup. And I look back at the tape, and that's not true. He played horribly. I'm not saying he did play horribly, but there was several matchups that he did his job.
Okay.
In pass blocking. So I just want to point that out. Those are the things that Pro Football Focus does that are head scratchers.
Well, I'm not just going through Pro Football Focus for you guys, just so you guys can see the grades, but this does gives you an insight on, on actual stats. So number 1 was Shaq. He had the highest grade, an 83. He also played the most snaps. He had a grade of 83. For the second straight week, he graded well. I know he had a lot more missed tackles last week, but this week he had 12 tackles according to PFF, and he missed just 1 tackle while allowing 3 receptions for 10 yards. He was also credited with 3 quarterback pressure on 5 blitzing snaps. So, I mean, he had a good game. Whether he was number 1,
no, number 1 was Greg Rousseau.
Yeah,
but Shaq played a much better game. He played a much better game.
And just some more stats, man. And this will be it for the stats. N'Kosi Perry, he went 10 for 24 with 104 yards and 1 interception. Jaron Williams went 4 for 8 for 50 yards, including the game-winning touchdown. Cameron Harris rushed for 60 yards on 16 carries.
60 tough yards.
60 tough, right.
Tough yards for Cam.
Exactly.
There weren't many holes.
Right. Robert Burns just had that one carry for 4 yards. We keep on seeing these little options, not these little options, these little reverses and whatnot.
Can I go on a rant?
Not yet.
Okay.
So KJ had 6 receptions for 94 yards, including the game-winning touchdown.
Boyo in Hamburg says Harris played injured too. Absolutely.
Oh,
Boyo.
yeah.
Harris
and he came back into the game.
A ton of heart. A ton of heart. And here's a guy who had that, who got banged up, and Jerome was saying it too, that Harris ran very well. For him to come back in that game and do what he did was huge. And hats, I can't take my hat off because I got my headphone, but hats off to Cam Harris. Right. Really proud of the young man.
So, yeah. Mike Harley had 4 receptions for 31 yards. Wiggins had just 1 reception. I think he had a drop as well for 12. 1 reception for 12 yards. Brevin Jordan, 1 reception, 9 yards. Unacceptable the way we're utilizing not arguably, the best tight end in college football. It blows my mind. Will Mallory, if you guys see Will Mallory, there might be a reward out for.
I saw him.
Will Mallory. Oh, you did see him.
Yeah, he's on a milk carton.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But there's a reward out for Will Mallory.
If for Will Mallory, anybody that spots him, okay.
Mark Pope, 1 reception, 4 yards. I mean, Cameron Harris also caught a pass for 4 yards, and that basically wraps it up, man. Lewis Headley, I think it was one of the MVP of the games. The punters don't ever get the credit that they deserve, and considering the punting mishaps and the struggles that we've had in the punting department the last couple years, man, seeing Headley just reverse the field when we need it and we're not doing anything offensively is so promising, man. He averaged 45.9 yards per punt yesterday. And yeah, when it comes to getting a ball down inside the 20, pinning them back and reversing the field, man, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. He's a monster. So that basically wraps it up for the stats, man. Just want to give you guys a little overview of that. What did you want to rant about, Big Dog?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to take my gloves off.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to take my gloves off completely because I've given him sufficient time. We're 8 games in. Okay. A coach's number one job is take advantage of the personnel that you have on your team.
Mm.
Okay. And there's things that are obvious that are going on, and Blake Baker and Dan Enos don't react to.
Wait, hold on. Dante, before you say that, Dante, don't do to Will Mallory what you guys said you stopped doing Robert Knows. We're not criticizing Will Mallory.
Oh, no.
Don't get that confused.
Yeah. No, dude. Our knock on Mallory is he had that one bad game against Florida where he had the drops. Okay.
Right.
He dropped that big 2-point conversion against North Carolina. But our problem isn't Mallory. Our problem is
the utilization. Right, the utilization of the tight ends, because
no, that's where I'm going. That's what we were going.
Right, exactly. We're not criticizing Will Mallory. We're criticizing how Dan Enos is utilizing these tight ends.
And this is my point. Okay, we're 8 games in. All right. Yesterday, you don't have Cam Harris. I'm sorry, you don't have DJ Dallas. Okay, you have Cam Harris, who's 5'10", 205. Okay. 3rd and 1 comes up. You got a dude named Robert Burns who is a sheet of 235 pounds of muscle, okay, who has speed on top of that. What did Manny Diaz say in fall camp about 22, about Robert Burns? The defense knows when 22 has the ball because guys know how hard he runs. And they're not looking forward to tackling him. 3rd and 1, who do you give the ball to? Cam Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not Robert Burns. Okay, Will Mallory, 6'5". The dude did a 100-meter in under 11 seconds in high school. Okay, we don't utilize it. Brevin Jordan, arguably our most dynamic player, best tight end in the country. Okay, yes, do we have to make adjustments to help our offensive line and keep him into block at times? Yes. You still find a way to get him 7, 8, 9 targets a game. Okay, which we're not doing. All right. This when they first came up with the idea of the striker, and we saw the striker in action with Romeo Finley, what did we say? Brilliant, awesome. That's a great. By the way, it wasn't an invention because the Cardinals have been doing that with Buchanan in the NFL. But this idea of the striker, and then other NFL teams are also doing it, of a quasi-safety linebacker has been around for even longer than that. But the fact that we used it and it worked, it was like awesome. Okay. Then they came up with this idea of the Viper. Okay. Well, what's the problem with the Viper? The guys that can play that Viper role, which are sometimes you rush the passer, sometimes you're in coverage, are your most athletic guys. Okay. Those are also the guys that you want to chase down the quarterback. So the fact is, I tweeted out yesterday on Twitter, what do opposing offensive coordinators say when they see Greg Rousseau dropping back into coverage?
Thank God.
Yes, thank God. All right. No, this whole Viper thing needs to stop because we're making Jonathan Garvin a lesser player than he should be. We're helping out opposing offensive coordinators by using Greg Rousseau in the Viper role, dropping back into coverage instead of pinning his ears back and going after the quarterback. Enough already.
I get it. Okay, my little point on that, though, tells you how much of an athlete that Rousseau is.
Yes.
He kept up with the running back all the way on that wheel route. I just want to point that out. He allowed the reception.
Correct.
True, but he was with him, running with him step by step.
My knock isn't on Rousseau. You know how much I love Rousseau.
No, I know. I'm just saying. So it's people. So that's something people might, that shows you how much of an athlete.
In fact, it was really his own coverage. The fact that he went back with the running back shows you how alert he was. Okay.
Right.
But you're still taking our most dynamic pass rusher and getting him out of the pass rush.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough already. Dan Enos in the red zone. All this cuteness. Not one damn fade again, man.
Not one fade.
Not one fade in the red zone again. You got D. Wiggins is 6
and
feet.
The 2-point conversion.
6'5".
The 2-point conversion.
The 2-point conversion. A trick play with Mike Harley.
Dude. Man, that's bad.
It didn't trick anybody.
It's bad.
And by the way, that could have hurt us because the guy picked it off, and they have that play that if he runs it back, what's 2 points in the other direction.
Right.
And then a field goal loses the game.
And a field goal beats us, right?
So
they had a kicker.
That's the type of stuff that I don't understand, man. Yeah. I just flat out do not understand. And enough already. Enough with this experimentation. It's not working. Okay, have some common sense. If you are there and you're saying to yourself, okay, what are the strengths of my players? Let's utilize those strengths.
J.S. Keynes nailed it on the head right here. He said red zone, fade or run burns with realist at H-back.
And we haven't done that one time.
We haven't seen that once, man. We haven't seen it once.
Not one time. What did we hear in the spring and fall camp? Oh, man, Ray Ellis George, that's one of the most improved Canes. Oh, my God, Ray Ellis George needs to see the field. Oh, my God, Dan Enos really loves using the fullback. Okay, and we used Larry Hodges because he sort of jumped over George on the depth chart, and now Larry Hodges has disappeared.
Dante, you nailed it on the head, man. You nailed it on the head. He says Manny, Enos, and Baker have all created complications with schemes and personnel that shouldn't exist at all. No way that we should be confusing football with magic. Keep it simple, stupid.
Ding, 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 Dante. Okay, go ahead, dude. You're hired. Seriously, Dante, you're 100% right. You couldn't be more right. Okay, and it's almost like they want to prove. It's like, hey, look at my brain. Look how innovative I am. Hey, look how tricky I am. Dude, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Do what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
Okay, here I go. I have a guy who's 6'6" or 6'7", 260 pounds, unblockable, with arms that like almost go down to his ankles. Okay, don't put him in coverage. Make him rush the passer.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a 6'5" tight ends. You got 6'3" guys. How about throwing them a fade in the red zone?
We haven't seen a fade to Brevin. That's what
we haven't seen a fade to Mallory.
No, I get. I
sort of make a case that the touchdown against North Carolina was sort of
more
a fade.
of a post. That was more of a post.
It was exactly. It was more of a corner route. So I that wasn't a fade. An actual fade, we haven't done one to Mallory.
Yeah.
Okay, the only fades we've done it with guys 6'1" or below, and even those have worked.
Yeah.
Okay, yesterday, again, not a single fade in the red zone.
Yeah.
Okay, it's almost like these guys are trying to show off how innovative they are, even when it goes against us.
But my biggest problem with that, big dog, and Orange and Green Blood says it, Realist George blocking for Birds in short yardage is going to get the first down 95% of the time.
Think about that if you're a linebacker and you see Realist George, 255 pounds.
How many times did we see last year on short yardage situations running a fullback dive and getting the first down?
And everybody knew we were going to run it.
Knew it was coming.
We still got the first down almost every time.
Exactly. That's my point, man. That's my point. So it's like, why are you gonna? What gets me frustrated is that we keep on like, okay, it doesn't work. The cuteness has not worked, Enos. How about changing it up and just like, what's the definition of insanity, big dog? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
Exactly.
Come on,
exactly. Man. Like, and it's almost like they're both set on this thing of like trying to show off how smart and innovative they are, instead of taking advantage of your players' strengths. Listen, a great coach adapts to the strengths of his players, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of this, the same exact thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there's something else that should be said. Guys, football is a game of more than the statistics. Okay. And one of the things, like Dante, you're talking about using Birds and Realist George. Okay. The way that you develop toughness in a team is when you tell that offensive line, Corey Gaynor, come here. I'm going to run Realist George behind you. And then Burns is coming behind George. Move somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you start doing that to your offensive line, you start developing an identity of toughness, of being able to get that 1 yard when you need it. Okay. You know how you don't develop that? Trying to get cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
That's how you don't develop that. Okay. And listen, I'm not going to say a defender of Enos, how can I put it? A realist when it came to Enos, that I know how hamstrung the offensive line can make you.
Thank you, Jason.
I said this before. Thank you, Jason. I said this before. You've never seen a great offense with a bad offensive line. It just doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you don't try to scheme around it, which Enos did not do well enough.
Well, and that goes to what DeJoe McDonald just said. He said, go watch 2015, 2017, Arkansas. Enos is running that offense. He didn't run phase then. He won't do it now. He's committed to his system.
Correct.
But that's what we're saying, though. That's what we have a problem with.
Correct.
Stubbornness.
Correct.
You have to coach according to your personnel. And frankly, we heard, and he said that he was going to do it.
We heard, and we were promised.
And we were promised that and frankly, you have the best tight end. Forget about not just the best tight end in the nation and Brevin Jordan. You have the best tight end duo, frankly, with Will Mallory and Brevin Jordan. So the fact that I understand, like Big Dog said earlier, and like how some of you have said in the chat, we've needed to help out the offensive line a little bit with the tight ends. Fine. I mean, that's part of the tight end's job as well. Blocking, helping out the offensive line. I get it, but it goes beyond that. When we're just not seeing the targets that we should be seeing from, especially in the red zone, from these tight ends.
You want me to give you an example of something that we haven't seen one time that can be done?
What's that?
Okay, who's our best blocking running back on the entire team?
I say DJ.
No. You're talking about actual running back. I'm saying who's our best blocking guy who's listed as a running back? Is Realis George.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay.
I
How
think
about no, DJs are best in picking up blitzes and those type of things out of the running backs. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Cam does a decent job with that too, but DJ
is probably
really solid in pass protection. Okay, but our best blocker, who's almost an offensive lineman, is Realis George.
Yeah.
Okay. How about instead of keeping your best tight end in the country into block, how about putting in Realis George to help out as a blocker on passing plays? Because we're not using our running back in the pass game a lot because we're keeping him in the block.
Yeah.
So how about putting Realis George in?
Big Dog, how come we're not seeing like any eye out there?
No, well, even when we do see the eye, we tend to motion out of it. And I wouldn't mind if we're using spread concepts.
Right.
But we're not using spread concepts, but we're not playing power football either.
Right.
So it's like you're just not maximizing the things that your roster gives you an ability to maximize.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to keep in Brevin Jordan, who's the most dynamic tight end in the country. So if we're going to do that, how about putting Realis George in to block as your extra blocker? And then that way that releases Brevin Jordan to be able to go make plays. So it's things like that. Like it's the stubbornness of this is not working, but I'm going to keep proving that I know what I'm doing, that I'm innovative, that hey, we're doing things my way.
Yeah,
well, your way is 4-4 so far.
HJS, he said the tight end screen disappeared as well. The only reception Brevin had yesterday was tight end screen.
Yeah.
And we saw it against Florida. We saw it work. So why we haven't seen more of those tight end screens either, I don't understand. No. And our wide receiver screens did not work at all yesterday. I mean, Pitt was ready for it. They were ready for it. But that one
we got
screen,
a big one on the fourth down.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
On the one to KJ, we got a big one on the fourth down. How about KJ with all those big catches he made on that last possession?
Yeah, he definitely made up for that drop that he had. That was almost an interception, frankly. If the guy would have kept the ball throughout the process of the catch, that would have been a pick. And frankly, maybe there goes the game. So, but I think KJ, 3 key, passes, obviously at fourth down, that wide receiver screen, like you said. And that I think it was on first down. It might have been the next play. I'm not sure which play it was, but that pass that he caught in traffic, he held on to it and set up a short yardage situation for us. And then, catching that pass.
And Jaron put that in a tiny window, and he put it in the perfect location.
Yeah,
on that last drive.
And he broke that tackle for the touchdown, like you said, 3-5-2. Yeah, 100%. I was meant to put you up here. But yeah, I'm seeing stubbornness, man. HJS says, Wraith Golden, Enos, all stubborn. It sucks, man. Yeah, we're seeing some stubbornness. Gunny Hat, Jaren's garbage, bro. Yeah, for sure.
Guys, and you know what it is? It's insecurity. It's insecurity masked as stubbornness. Because here's the thing, is that they're scared to admit, hey, my innovative ideas aren't working.
Right. That's
okay. And they want to say, oh, this is what I came up with. And look how good it's worked. That Viper has been a flat out bust.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out bust, because people would say, well, we did okay with keeping the running quarterbacks in the pocket. Well, not really, because what you did is you could do the same thing with a shadow and not take our most dynamic pass rushers out of plays where they can pass rush. Those are the things that are flat out unacceptable. And I'll tell you what, neither one of them, Dan Enos or Blake Baker, has taken advantage of our players' strengths, nor have they hidden their weaknesses well enough. And that is 101 of what a coach is supposed to do. And neither one has done the job. So there's my rant, guys.
Oh, man.
I've given them sufficient time. I've given them 8 games, and they have not impressed me in the least. in the least. So that's all I have to say about that.
Water went down the wrong hole.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
You want to go to the questions? See if you guys want to do some Q&A and questions and comments you might have. You want to go ahead and moderate it?
Yeah, I got you. Why do we keep running reverses in a short field? It wrecks my nerves. When you find out the answers to that, James, let us know, man.
Yeah,
I'm good, man. Water went down the wrong pipe, so I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, Saeed says he thinks Applewhite would have been better.
I mean, Applewhite. You could say the same thing about Larry Fedora. You could say the same thing about a lot of those spread guys. At the end of the day, I do think our offense would struggle regardless because of how bad our offensive line has been. But at the same time, Dan Enos has not schemed around it sufficiently enough. So I do think a guy like Applewhite. Now, the thing with Enos is he does get credit as a quarterback coach because we did see a better Nkosi. And Enos, from all reports, is an elite level QB coach, but he most definitely isn't that as an offensive coordinator or play caller.
We got a question from HJS Kane. He says he doesn't like firing people, but who, in your opinion, should be gone next year?
Oof. I think as fans as a whole, would they need to understand that people are not finished products. Okay? In that people do learn from their mistakes. People do improve. I'm sure, Nick Saban learned a great deal from his horrible Dolphins experience. You have coaches just like players that improve. We talked about Robert Knowles. Okay, the Robert Knowles that we're seeing this year is a different Robert Knowles that we've seen in the past. Well, the same thing can be said with coaches. Do they learn? Butch Barry, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I do think he did have success with the Bucks because as bad as the Bucks were overall as a team, their offensive lines actually performed very well when Butch Barry was there with them. The fact that even when they switched head coaches, they kept Butch Barry at the offensive line coach as an assistant offensive line coach. It shows how well thought of he was in the NFL. I'm not ready to give up on Butch Barry. I do see the offensive line is starting to improve. They're still nowhere near we need them to be. But I think some of the defensive coaches, starting Blake Baker, unless he learns fast, maybe he wasn't ready for prime time. Jonathan, go ahead.
No, I'm saying Blake Baker's still calling the plays, man. I mean, we saw great defense against Florida. We saw great defense against Virginia. We saw, great defense. No.
We saw great red zone defense against Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay. And at the end of the day, we are giving up consistently 300 and change yards per game, which is not an elite defense.
Yeah.
It's just not. So Blake Baker took over a defense that was performing at a very high level, and now we're not performing at a very high level.
Frankly, I rather have, like, Manny could do something like, listen, I'm going to take over defensive coordinator duties and you'll be an assistant DC.
Okay.
Like that, like I'll be good with that at least. But completely firing Blake Baker, I mean, who are you going to bring in?
You think as a young coach that obviously somebody that has the Manny mindset at DC.
That Blake Baker was that guy. That was Manny's.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, he is a young coach. But the thing is Enos the right fit? Let's go to Enos. Is he the right fit?
It'll be interesting. Oh man, you know what? It's hard for me to defend Enos, man. I'm not seeing the necessary. Whew.
That's my point. My point is, Junior, my point is this. My point is this. What has Manny talked about 20 times since he took over the head job is accountability. Talking about accountability and accountability.
What's up,
well,
CJ?
You're in a production business. Okay, if the defense isn't performing up to snuff, what do you say to Blake Baker? Are you going to hold the coaches accountable? You have to hold the players accountable. You damn sure better hold the coaches accountable.
Mm-hmm.
To me, what did I tell you? What was the most damning thing about the Mark Richt era? Was it not Gus Felder? When I found out that that he missed player workouts and nothing happened.
Yeah,
that's how you lose a team. Well, if you don't hold the coaches accountable, how can you hold the players accountable? So Blake Baker, this is where our defense was last year. This is where our defense is now. You have to be accountable for the fact that it hasn't produced.
And you know what it is, man? Big Dog, what you know, it's tough for me, man, because I don't like saying that. My biggest concern on this football team, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys, okay? This is my biggest concern, is Dan Enos. Is Dan Enos because of a couple of reasons. We haven't seen the adjustments. Keeps on doing the same thing. The red zone offensive play calling is horrific. The play calling, I don't have a problem with.
Not taking advantage of our players' strengths and hiding their weaknesses well enough.
Right.
Okay.
And I think what worries me about Enos is his personality. He is a stubborn man. I mean, when he was getting pressed about, running more plays out of the shotgun and stuff like that, like he got defensive and he's like, nah, I mean, we're going to keep on running under center. We're going to keep on running shotgun. We haven't seen wrinkles to this offense that we should be seeing. And
we're doing the same exact things we were doing week one.
Yeah.
He's shown very little. And then he says
he gets me so mad, man.
His big adapting is, we're using Brevin. We're keeping him in to block because of our offensive line struggles just recently.
Yeah.
Just recently? Have you been watching our offensive line since the beginning of the season? And you just did that recently? And by the way, you're keeping our biggest mismatch into block?
Yeah.
Seriously, dude. It's like he doesn't have any answers, and when he gives one, it's the wrong one. So if you're going to hold players accountable, you damn sure better hold coaches accountable.
I agree. I'm having a problem with Enos. I really am. Yeah. I really am, and I don't see. I mean, now we're 8 games in, guys, and we're still seeing the same red zone offense being called. I mean, nothing has really changed. So it's like, it's not working, buddy.
and he still doesn't adapt.
That's my.
At least if he was trying different things, you would give him credit for trying different things. He's not. He's still doing the damn cute things in the red zone, and none of them are working.
Mm-hmm.
Our best red zone play has been a screen.
Mm-hmm.
You've tried the few fades you've tried, they've worked, and you don't go back to the fades. You don't even try fades in one set of down.
Big Dog, it's not
you
even.
Put Realis George in with Robert Burns on goal line.
Big Dog, listen. The fades, I think probably 1, maybe 2.
It's like we've gone the opposite end of the spectrum.
It's been either interference
would try
or
only fades.
On these fades.
Mark Richt would do only fades, and Enos doesn't want to do any fades. Can we get something in between?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Mark Richt never adjusted either when it came to his play calling, man.
and that's why he's on the AC. And by the way, prayers out to Mark Richt and his family. He had a heart attack, obviously, this week. He seems to be okay. In fact, I understand he wanted to go back to work this week. But prayers out to Mark Richt's family and to Mark Richt and hope he feels better.
All right, CJ. Okay, CJ says if Manny fires Enos, I'll feel more comfortable and I will believe in Manny again. Big dog, you're Manny Diaz. I'm giving you the headset right now.
Okay.
What are you doing with Dan Enos at the end of this year? What are you doing?
If you give me that headset, you'd have to give it to me at the beginning of the season. And there's a bunch of stuff I would have been doing up until now.
Right.
That I'm not sure Manny has done.
Me neither.
Okay, because if I see game 2 that Enos has not made any type of concession of how poorly our offensive line is playing, I don't wait to game 8. Game 2, I call Dan Enos into my office and say, hey, dude, you're the offensive coordinator, but I'm the head coach. So at the end of the day, I'm accountable. What are you doing to scheme around our offensive line? Because you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So to answer that question about I'm Manny Diaz, I'm handling things differently from the get-go. Why are you still getting cute in the red zone if it's not working, Dan? And I'm not talking about publicly. Publicly, the opposite. Publicly, I'm the one taking all the bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but privately, you and I, in our little one-on-ones, I'm calling you on the carpet because I didn't bring you in from Alabama, okay, to run an offense that's performing the way our offense is performing, and I get it. We're going to struggle with consistency offensively because of our porous offensive line, but Dan Enos has not done stuff to help it. He's done stuff that exacerbated it.
All right, and to Kerry's point, he says nothing going to change on offense. He wouldn't pull this at Alabama because Saban would hold him accountable.
That's my point.
It's crucial that Manny hold his coordinators accountable. Yeah.
That's my point.
That's what Big Dog's saying, man. Enos was mad yesterday. It looks like he was mad with Nkosi, and that could have led to his benching. But
guys, you remember when Lane Kiffin was at Alabama, okay, and he got too cute a time or two? What did Nick Saban do on the sideline? He went off on Lane Kiffin. We saw it.
Yeah.
When he felt that Lane Kiffin was getting too cute for school.
Yeah.
So, James, that's not the reality. I mean, that's the thing that sometimes with Enos, I think people try to change the narrative. The reality is Enos was going to be Alabama's OC. And Georgia was throwing a ton of money to get Enos to Georgia. So Enos, we can't say hindsight changed the narrative back then. The fact is, Enos was like the hottest name in terms of OCs in this offseason, to the extent that Alabama was negotiating a contract with him and Georgia was throwing money at him. Right. So that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we can't say, oh, well, Saban really didn't want him. That is unfair. That's unfair because that's not the reality. Now, that doesn't put him above criticism because he does deserve the criticism. Yeah, Loxley was the OC at Bama, but Enos was, when Loxley got the job at Maryland, Alabama started negotiating with Enos to make him the OC at Bama. And Georgia made a run at him. So, but the point I was making with the Saban and Lane Kiffin is we saw Saban chewing Lane Kiffin on national television.
Right.
Because Kiffin got too cute.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have. If you're going to be a successful head coach, it's the same thing as being successful as a CEO, as a manager, as a parent, is you hold people accountable. Okay, you lead by example, and then you hold people accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gary, that's true. So Enos didn't tell Saban he was leaving. Yeah,
where the F is Enos, right?
Enos was supposed to.
Where the F is Dan.
Enos was supposed to be leading a meeting, and Nick Saban didn't even know that Enos wasn't going to be at the meeting.
Yeah. Hey, just a quick reminder, guys. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel. If you're watching us on Facebook, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube and our YouTube family. Go check us out on Facebook. We're trying to expand, our presence, on social media. So check out our Facebook page. Subscribe, like this video if you're in here. If you haven't already, like the video. Hit that notification bell if you do subscribe, so you can get notified every time we upload a video. We do live streams, live chats on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, as well as doing lives at 11 in the morning after, more than likely on Saturdays, which is game day. We'll be doing our reaction and our review video of the game. And if the game's on Friday, we'll be doing it on Saturday, so on and so forth. So, yeah.
And then when the game's on Saturday, we'll be doing it on Sunday.
Right, exactly. So, yeah. But
so I mean, that's the thing is I would not have allowed it to get to this point. Is you address those things on an ongoing basis. Now, do we know for a fact Manny didn't? No, but it's obviously he didn't, because Enos hasn't done anything differently than get more stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the things, guys, that that's why my quasi rant there. It's definition of insanity, guys, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So Robbie Porter says that Joe Rose is the real big dog copycat.
Joe Rose is the real. That's funny.
Thank you, Robbie. All right, guys. So that's the thing. I think our defensive staff has gotten a little stale. I do think I'd like to see a move with Jonathan Packey. I'd like to see us to get a dedicated special teams coach who handles just special teams. I'd like to see the QB coach and the offensive coordinator title split up. Okay. Those are things that I would like to see going forward. And I do think there needs to be accountability and expectations with the coaching staff. And since it hasn't met, put it this way, if I don't see moves by Manny, then I start shifting my eyesight from the assistants to Manny himself. Because if you're not willing to make those moves, then maybe you're not the right guy for the gig either. And that's fair.
Well, Big Dog, I know DJ Ivy had a good game, but he still got the start.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you got to say about that?
Yeah,
I mean, guys, we're not at the practices, so we don't see everything that goes on. And apparently something happened also with Jaren. My opinion on what happened with Jaren, this is just my opinion, okay? I don't have any sources for this. This is purely, opinion based. But I think that, Jaren was healthy enough, and Manny has been saying that Jaren is QB1 this whole time. And I think Jaren might have gotten maybe frustrated.
I think it's just the opposite, by the way.
Whatever. This is my opinion.
Okay.
Then you give your opinion. I think that Jaren might have gotten upset that this was a quote unquote open competition, even though Jaren's basically been promised that this is his job. So we don't know why he missed Wednesday's practice. That's something that they're going to keep in-house. But the way Manny said it, the way Jaren said it, it kind of feels like it was something personal going on there. So I don't think it was health related, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I think that's exactly 180 degrees opposite.
You think it was health related, Big Dog?
I'll tell you exactly what I think happened on Wednesday.
Eesh.
I think Jaren and his father went to get a second opinion on his shoulder.
Really?
Absolutely. I think what the break that you're seeing is the exact opposite. I think it's because doctors are telling Manny that Jaren's shoulder is strained. Because notice the way Manny has dodged the question. Every time Manny has been asked, is Jaren healthy? He answers, well, he's healthy enough to play. Well,
Right.
is Jaron that reporters Susan Miller Degnan asked, "Oh, so Jaron's 100%?" And what did Manny say?
He's
He's okay to play.
he's okay to play, right? Exactly.
Okay, so I think the disconnect that you're talking about, and it matches why I think Jaron missed Wednesday, is that Jaron, you can see, and when he's warming up, he's constantly doing this, trying to get his rotator cuff to loosen up
I'll tell you
and
this.
his labrum.
I don't know if you guys can see me.
Yeah, and he does this.
When you do this, that's the rotator cuff. So I think
Correct.
in my opinion, it's a rotator cuff issue.
I think what's going on, if you see Manny's cryptic answers have always been Jaron is still our guy. He's still QB1, whatever. He's still our guy. And every time he gets asked about Jaron's health, and yes, I understand that schools are
that makes more sense than my than my take, big dog.
Correct.
That makes more sense.
That's why I'm saying that I think there's a disconnect. And like I said, schools traditionally don't give out information on player injuries, but notice how Manny would always dodge the question of Jaron not being 100%. Yeah. And I think what happened was the UM medical staff was telling Manny Jaron's injury is a strain. He could play through it. Okay. And that Jaron is seeing his shoulder wasn't getting better. And I think what you saw was maybe Jaron and his father. You have to remember from last year, Jaron and his father didn't trust the former staff, which is one of the reasons why he wanted to transfer. He felt that he was had been lied to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think they went to get a second opinion because I think he feels that there's something more wrong with the shoulder than what they've been telling him because it hasn't improved.
All right, you know what, man? I digress, and I take back my opinion because that makes a lot more sense to me now. Now
that's
that
how
you said
I read
it,
the tea leaves, right?
That makes a lot more sense to me. But before we keep on going, we got Niner Droid Jesus in here. He says the reason why UM versus FSU game is not a night game is because UM sucks.
Jerome, thank you so much, Jerome. For the
neither
donation.
one of us are very good. Niner Droid. So I think that's the reason why we're not a primetime game. But a $5 dono from Jerome. Thank you so much, Jerome. I appreciate the donation, man. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I think Dante said something about just going with the hot hand during the game at QB. And this is another thing that we heard from Strange Clouds. We always used to be on primetime.
No, but we have been at 3:30 for a long. But Strange Clouds, no, Niner Droid was just saying it. He's a friend, so he was just trying to tease us.
He's trolling us, man.
He's trolling us.
That's what he's trying to do. But yeah, we heard. Listen, guys, if you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one, and that's something that I'm not saying that. That's something that Manny insinuated. He's always wanted to have just one guy, frankly. So I don't like the whole.
I don't think we have any issue with the quarterbacks, dude. I don't think we have any issue.
No. I'm just saying for the whole
if Jaron's healthy, he's going to be the starter. Period.
I agree. So who do you got coming out against FSU?
I mean, he looked like his zip started coming back. So at the end of the day, maybe the UM training staff is correct and it's a strain because it does seem like he started getting the zip back. Because he threw some passes with velocity yesterday.
He did.
Okay, so maybe Jaron is getting close to back to 100%. So in which case I see Jaron out there. I mean, in all fairness, yesterday was the first really, for almost an entire game, bad performance from a QB because Nkosi struggled yesterday. But it's the first time this season that he really struggled as bad as he did yesterday.
Yeah.
And even with a somewhat of a better performance from the offensive line. He was missing a lot. He was missing a lot really high. You guys remember, I mean, the play with Mallory that he threw like well over his head. And,
what was weird within Nkosi yesterday was pocket presence. I think he did a good job on avoiding some sacks and throwing the ball away on a couple plays, but like I saw him freeze up a couple times with the pressure, and that's something that Enos has said about Perry, and Perry has said about himself. is focusing too much on the pass rush.
Right,
And not letting your eyes, go downfield looking for open receivers. I did see that quite a bit yesterday. So I don't know. He was just off. He was off, and I saw him focusing a lot on the pass rush and freezing up at times. Like we didn't see him trying to get out of the pocket as much and rolling out and making plays with his feet as much, which I thought was kind of weird. But
the one time he did, he made a real bad decision that third down. That he came up short on the run.
Yeah,
and then took a big hit. He was off yesterday. His mechanics got away from him, which is what we saw a lot last year. And he started missing badly. Because even the interception was a huge overthrow where he threw it way over the guy's head.
Yeah,
same thing on that pass he missed to Mallory. He missed a few really high yesterday, so his mechanics got away from him. But at the end of the day, guys, I always thought this was gonna be the case in terms of if Jaren is healthy, he'll be the guy. And I think what we've been dealing is a cryptic. Part of the time, Manny is also trying to defend the playing Jaren against Virginia Tech, when obviously the injury was a lot worse that week, because he really, you could tell he was really, really dealing with some pain, which he probably should have gone to Nkosi against Virginia Tech, and I think he's trying to defend that. But at the same time, I do think there's a disconnect in terms of the injury. But from what I saw yesterday, I saw Jaren have the zip that he had against Florida, that he had against North Carolina, which we haven't seen since.
And mind you, it was cold, it was raining, and still with that, it looked like he had a lot of zip on the ball.
He did.
But look, guys, I think we could still win with either quarterback, assuming that our play calling gets better. Frankly, if we utilize, like we've been saying, if Enos utilizes our personnel the way he's supposed to and puts our players in the best position to succeed, use our speed, use our size, especially when it comes to the red zone, use our size, throwing more fade routes, not so much trickery. I believe that we could win with either quarterback. Now, who that quarterback is going to be against Florida State, we'll see.
Well, and my point this whole season has been quarterbacks have been the least of our worry. Up until Nkosi yesterday, the quarterback position had not been a problem.
Right.
Obviously, you can say Jaren's a start against Virginia Tech, which obviously had some reason for it. But up until yesterday, we hadn't seen that. We've seen the problems be elsewhere. But you're right. I do think we could win with either one. But yeah, I do. We need to see some differences in offensive and defensive play calling and utilization of personnel.
Yeah. Kerry says, why is Thomas suspended? I've been hearing things.
Yeah, but let's not address. We don't have anything confirmed.
We don't have anything confirmed.
So we don't want to speculate publicly about something that's regarding someone's character unless we have it confirmed. And we don't have it confirmed.
So we're not going to get into that, big dog.
No, I don't want to.
But he is going to play against Florida State. So
yes, correct.
He will play against Florida State. So that's something it's going to be good to have him out there regardless, man. He's talented. He could stretch out the field, peel the top off of defense. So it's good to have him. He's a playmaker, man. So hopefully, he comes back with a vengeance. And I did see him on Twitter after we won. He said, "Great W, team." So. He's supportive. He's being supportive. So I think we're gonna have him back, and I expect a good game for FSU. I expect a good game, and I expect a breakout performance, hopefully, from Jeff Thomas. It's just crazy, when it comes to this team, because you can never say like, okay, I know 100% this guy's gonna perform well. You could probably say that about DJ, when he's healthy. You could say it about Harris, but when it comes to our wide receivers, man, you should be able to say that about Brevin. You should be able to say that about JT4, but we can't.
I think we can say it about Brevin and KJ.
Well, yesterday, big dog, 1 reception, 6 yards.
Yeah, but that's not on Brevin. That's not on Brevin, though.
But no, but that's my point.
Right.
Is that because of some of the decision making on the offensive side of the football, you can never say like, oh, I know this man is gonna have a big game. like, or he's gonna play up to expectations, or at least he's gonna get the opportunity to make big plays. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, you should be able to see Brevin getting 5, 6, 7 targets a game, but you're not seeing that. You should be able to see Mattery getting a certain amount of targets a game. We're not seeing that. So, besides DJ, our running backs, because I think we have amazing talent when it comes to running backs. So you could count on them, but you just don't know, who's gonna have a good game, and it's not necessarily their fault. It's how they're being utilized, and it goes back to,
and even KJ being that consistent, I think it's because he's the quarterback security blanket.
Yeah.
So that's why KJ performs so consistently, because the QBs, both of them, trust him so much.
Yeah.
So, and to answer the question, 904 mentioned it, guys. For us to talk about someone's character publicly, I have to have it confirmed and know it. I'm sure you guys have heard some of the same rumors about JT4 that we have. But again, I don't have anything confirmed, so we're not going to do that on a public basis. Talk about something that we don't know for a fact, that we haven't had confirmed. So
that's my point, Dante. Dante says we can't count on anything because our traveling magician coaching staff has no consistency in their behavior. That's what I'm trying to get at, man. And that sucks. to put it frankly, I mean that it sucks. It sucks because you never know. I mean, we have the playmakers, man. Like, we have them. Please use them. I mean, I understand, and people keep on saying it in the chat. You need the tight ends to help out the offensive line. Okay, yes, I agree. But
again, but you don't, though.
I mean,
you don't. That's the point I'm talking about. Utilize your personnel.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have Riellis George.
Yeah.
Put him in to block. Yeah. Use Brevin Jordan to
my point.
Receive.
My point is, I don't have a problem with using our tight ends sometimes to block.
Correct.
But I do have a problem with that being your excuse for not
use Brevin Jordan.
Exactly.
Not using the best tight end in the country.
Right. That's what I have a problem with.
It's ridiculous, 100%. Man. And thank you, Luis, for the kind words. But because Luis said that we were class acts. But it's just, guys, I understand. Again, one of the things that I held Enos accountable for was scheming to protect our weak spot at the offensive line. Okay, but when you do that in the manner that's creative, that takes advantage of the strengths of your personnel.
You wish Kyle Pitts was the best tight end in the country by far. Negative.
The use your, first off, I don't even really I call Kyle Pitts a quasi receiver, not really a tight end. Use Riellis George in that situation. Even Michael Irvin. Use Michael Irvin in that situation. Use Larry Hodges in that situation.
He's a good blocker.
Absolutely Brian Palinde if you want to in that situation. Where he's a quasi offensive lineman almost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't use our most dynamic threat at tight end to block a disproportionate amount of time. So even when they're trying to adjust to the porous offensive line way too little, way too late, by the way, you're doing it in a manner which takes away one of our big weapons. Yeah. That's not being creative, man.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Hey, Martin says,
yeah, I did see Irvin in on goal line.
Martin says, after the season, do you think DJ, Jeff Thomas, and Garvin are going to be back next year?
Thomas, no, I never said Riellis George is the second coming. What I said is Riellis George, his strength is blocking. That's his strength.
Right.
Okay, that's what we could use as a pass blocker and free up Brevin Jordan, even if you want to use one of the other tight ends.
Mm-hmm. What's going on, Curveball?
But anyways, you want to do some rapid fire before we get out of here?
Martin says, after the season, do you think DJ, Jeff Thomas, and Garvin are going to be back next year?
DJ, I doubt that he'll be back, and I don't. if I was his advisor, running backs are different. Running backs are different, guys, because I do believe running backs have only a certain amount of miles in those legs. And I understand completely DJ leaving to go to the NFL. And I would advise him to do that. JT4, if he wants to go higher, I think he has to come back. Yeah, I think he has to come back, be productive.
Assuming he doesn't transfer, you think?
Well, assuming he doesn't transfer, be productive and stay out of trouble for an entire season.
I don't see why he would transfer, obviously, because he already transferred. I just think that'll be, I don't know. I don't see it, but yeah, I have all of them coming back, I think.
Yeah, and Garvin
especially, I think is coming back because there's more. I don't see it. I think he might be I just don't think where these juniors are going in the draft on our team. I think it might be smart to come back, frankly.
Yeah. So I think DJ Dallas leaves. I think JT.
You think DJ is gone?
DJ Dallas, I think he leaves. Yeah.
I don't think he's gone.
And I think it's a good idea.
I don't think he's gone at all.
Well, he listen, he might not. But the thing is, running backs, they only have a certain amount of miles. And the sooner you get in the league, the more of those miles you get paid for.
I think it would be smart for DJ to leave, in my opinion. But I don't think he will leave.
Oh, yeah. As far as what he's going to end up doing, I don't know. But I think
he should.
I think 2 of those 3 likely leave.
You think 2 of those 3? I'll go 1, maybe.
Okay.
I'll go 1, maybe. Yeah, he needs to leave, man. He needs to leave. He's already getting banged up.
That's also true. That DJ has a son.
Yeah,
DJ has a kid.
You have to secure that bag.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's a great point.
Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, DJ does need to leave. He does. He does. He needs to listen. Running backs, guys. I'll say 2 people to you: Melvin Bratton and Willis McGahee. That's all you need to know about running backs. Both of those guys. Now Willis McGahee, fortunately, was able to have surgery and come back and still have a really good career in the NFL. Melvin Bratton did not. And if you guys old school Canes will remember that Melvin Bratton in the Orange Bowl on one of the last play of his career at UM, tore up his knee and ended up not having the career in the NFL he would have had.
Yeah. Thomas D says Thomas ain't getting drafted. Thomas ain't getting drafted in the first round like the talent that he is, but he's definitely one thing that NFL
if he goes out,
love, man. Speed.
Yeah. But the fact is, right now, if he leaves after this junior season, he doesn't sniff the first 2 or 3 days.
Oh no!
No matter,
he does get drafted though, 100%.
Oh no, he will, but
he will get drafted.
He's looking at a 6th rounder, at a 5th rounder. He's not going to get drafted high with all the baggage.
Mm-hmm.
That if he keeps his nose clean, no pun intended, if he keeps his nose clean, and for an entire season and balls out next year, then you might be looking at a 1st or 2nd day pick. But
assuming we have the same personnel in place, I don't see how he would ever be a first day. But it is what it is.
Again, I mean, he definitely has to ball out.
And he does,
and he definitely has to stay clean and not have any negative incidents.
Yeah.
Any score predictions?
No, not yet. Thursday, baby. You have to join us on Thursday.
On Thursday, okay.
And I'm probably making a bet with the wife because, as you all know, she's a Seminole, and there might be a bet set in place for this game on Saturday. Man, this is rivalry week, and this household gets kind of crazy. With me and her, we start talking smack all week, and we might have a bet. We got a shake on it and whatnot. We might have a bet coming in when it comes to this game. So it's going to be interesting, but we'll go ahead and reveal that for Thursday. So if you guys join us on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're gonna go ahead and break down the FSU game. Talk about obviously the practices and what's going on during the week, and then we'll unveil the bet that me and the wife have going on. So we'll go ahead and unveil that for you guys. If you guys want to see it, come on in here on Thursday.
Is it unveil or unveil?
Unveil. It's unveil. It's unveil. We're gonna unveil.
By the way, I'm sorry, I should have explained it better for younger guys. By the way, Orange and Greenblood had an awesome line. Oh shoot, Orange and Greenblood, I forgot it now.
No hospital visits. Yeah, 100% Orange and Greenblood for real.
Tell the Orange and Greenblood re-put that line that you just said a little bit ago of Enos. For those of you guys that I didn't go into the explanation, I should have. Melvin Bratton was a really, really good running back for the Canes in the 80s. Tremendous receiver out of the backfield. Single-handedly took out Oklahoma in that one big win for us. That one of us in national championships in '87. And his very last game as a UM player was in the Orange Bowl. And he had a huge game that day. And at the end of the game, Enos came to home run derby and bunted the ball. I love that. I love that line.
That's good. I like that.
And Mel Bratton really without contact went towards the sideline and took a step, and his leg gave out and just completely popped his blew out his left leg. And ended up not having an NFL career because of it. And Melvin Bratton was one of those guys that would have had a fantastic career in the NFL if it wasn't for that knee. So, at least Willis McGahee was able to come back, but Bratton was tremendous. And it just broke my heart to see him get hurt his last game in college. Yeah. And back then, the knee surgeries weren't like they are nowadays, where you could come back 100%. He was never the same player again. And it ended up, costing him a career. So that's the thing with running backs, guys, that I have a different standard for running backs leaving early than everybody else. I'm sorry, what was it that we were talking about?
No, I was just talking about the bet that
that you and Ellie are gonna make.
Yeah, we'll probably announce it live. Me and her. It's got to be a show thing. So, but there has to be equal punishment. Is my thing. So that's
she's pregnant though. You can't.
I know
you can't make that punishment too bad.
Whatever, man. It's all about this. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it easy on her, man. We're talking trash all week, and I'll make sure to try to take it a little easy on her on Saturday compared to years past. But yeah, it's still gonna be a tense environment here in the junior and the big dog in the junior household, at least. So
one of the things that they've been talking about going back and forth with JT4 and his speed. JT, I don't think Richard he's that fast, and I do think he's somewhat fast. I think he's probably a high 4.3. But here's the thing with JT4: what he has is tremendous short area quickness combined with good speed. So what JT4 has is acceleration, and that's what makes him that fast. It makes him that explosive, is what I should say. Yeah. So that's the thing with JT4. So, but guys, let's do some rapid fire so we can get out of here. And
Martin, no more rally hats because I kept on the rally hat, then we lost to Georgia Tech. So that rally hat is not coming back.
There you go.
I'm a little superstitious when it comes to that. So, and I saw somebody said that Coop picked Virginia and Pitt to win. Coop, if you're watching this, man, I hope
pick FSU.
Pick FSU to win. Not that we're superstitious at all, but pick FSU to win, Coop, if you're watching.
Hey, well, to be perfectly honest, even though I did pick Miami against Virginia, I picked 17-13. I wasn't all that confident that we were going to beat Virginia, and I wasn't all that confident that we were going to beat Pitt. And yet we won those two games, and then we crapped the bed with Georgia Tech. So
yeah, the game that we were like that we're gonna win for sure.
Yeah, guys. I mean, I'll make a prediction on Thursday and stuff like that. But be honest with you, man, I
Lakers all day.
I never know what team.
Sam Brooks is backs up Shaq. And that's the reason why we haven't. Shaq played over 70-something snaps. And I know some people were saying that why isn't Sam Brooks in the game when Pickney left the game against Georgia Tech? Well, it's because Sam Brooks doesn't play the will, and he backs up Shaq with the mic. So that's the reason that Manny gave. Now
it's a bit of a politician answer, though.
It's a bit of exactly. I agree with that.
He's right. He's right that maybe teaching him Mike and Will at the same time might be an overload for a young man who played defensive end in high school. Okay, I get that, but there's still ways around that. And that's what Manny left out of the conversation. So that was his excuse for not playing Sam Brooks and playing Ryan Rigoni, who, by the way, ended up with a nice tackle for loss yesterday.
He did, man.
Yeah.
He had a couple tackles yesterday.
Yeah, he did. So, but no, let's do some rapid fire, guys, because I do have to.
Big dog.
What's that?
That's what we've been doing. What you mean?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. you post them.
Junior Curveball said, Junior the Big Dog, do you think JT Ford should be on punt return? He fair catches 99% of the time.
Yeah, but most of the time
I haven't seen. You know what? I haven't seen JT Ford fair catch that much
when he's not supposed to.
When he's not supposed to. So I don't put that on Jeff Thomas, to be honest with you. But
nowadays it's a different world in terms of punters. They really focus a lot on hang time. Yeah. And so you're seeing a lot of times that fair catch is called for. What I haven't seen JT
not just
fair catch a punt that he should have run.
What you're also seeing a lot more of is teams not necessarily going all out to block a kick. They're dropping back into punt coverage. So obviously you have more people running at the ball. No, wait a second. No, I got that confused. You're seeing when you're punting the football, you're seeing less opportunities for the returner to have.
But I think that's because of hang time.
But that's because of hang time.
A lot of teams are focusing on hand time and just not distance on punts.
Right.
Yeah. So, but now Brandon says about Mark Pope. I wouldn't mind seeing Pope back there a time or two. Why not? Absolutely. I think you give him a shot. Diesel Swag says, do you agree Perry struggled with his throws because of dislocated shoulder? You do use both shoulders. The thing is, Diesel, I've seen Nkosi do that before. I saw him do it quite a bit last year where his mechanics get away from him. I think you saw that one of the things that Enos worked on with Nkosi the most is on his arm speed through the motion, because he tends to have a long motion and a slow arm through. And I think I saw his mechanics go back a little bit. And was that impacted by his non-throwing shoulder? It might have been. But he struggled high, and that's something that I have seen him do before. So as far
CJ, go ahead, Big. I'm sorry.
I'm like, go ahead, dude.
CJ says, during the Big Dog, does Manny make coaching changes at the end of the season? I think that is going to depend on how the rest of the season unfolds.
True. But I'd be disappointed if he doesn't, because it shows me he's not holding guys accountable.
But Big Dog, but if we win out, I don't think he makes any changes.
Okay, Jonathan Packey, have the linebackers developed?
The line. See, and that goes back to my thing about the linebackers.
Jonathan Packey has coached the linebackers. I know Manny coaches linebackers too, but he has coached the linebackers and special teams. Have our linebackers developed the way that they were expected to, and have our special teams as a whole performed the way that they should?
How much do you blame that on development, and how much do you blame that on talent, though, when it comes to the linebackers?
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? Of course it matters.
A coach is held accountable for production. Period.
Okay,
period.
But
that's what you hold players accountable for. Our linebackers have not progressed under his watch.
But that's my thing, Big Dog.
Our special teams haven't performed under his watch.
The special teams is valid.
Okay. Bubba Baxa. we saw Bubba Baxa getting ready for a big kick, and he was not warming up into the net. Yesterday, we saw Camden Price on the touchdown drive at the end, warming up into the net.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why was not Bubba Baxa doing that?
Because Bubba Baxa was just like mind.
And whose job is it then to coach him up? Jonathan Peckey's.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, he is bringing in Andre Borregales.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. If you guys didn't see, I think it was Friday's game. He was drilling them from over 50. I think he had a 51 yarder, a 56 yarder.
That's our kicker commit for 2021, guys.
For 2021.
Andre Borregales, he is the brother of Jose Borregales, who was FIU's kicker and was on the Lou Groza watch list. He was a semifinalist, in fact, for the Lou Groza National Kicker of the Year. His brother was. So, and Andre looks even stronger. So
I think somebody asked Big Dog, do you see Lingard transferring?
Ooh, I'm having a tough time reading Lingard, guys. I'm having a tough time. That whole thing of the red shirt, after some of the cryptic comments that Lingard's family was making and that Lingard himself made in terms of wanting to play, and then he supposedly goes to Manny and says, my knee still doesn't feel right and I want a red shirt. I don't know how to read into that. Am I reading into that he's transferring for sure? Or am I reading into that there was a lot of smoke that maybe got cleared?
I have no idea.
I have a tough time. I have a tough time reading the tea leaves.
But I'll tell you,
I do think the fact that Cheney coming in might have an impact on that, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. I think he might. I think he might. Basically because of that reason. Because Lingard was saying that he's ready and he's ready to go. He's ready to go, and then we're hearing that he's the one that went to Manny and said, "Listen, I'm not ready to go. I want a red shirt."
Yeah.
So maybe he was getting frustrated, and then maybe he was like, "I'm not gonna blow a red shirt." You know, if I'm not gonna see any playing time anyway. So,
but here's the thing, though.
I mean, come on.
You can make a case that the times, at least that I've seen Lingard run, he did seem to still be favoring that leg. Now, mind you, he had a brace on it, so maybe that was part of it. I don't know. I have a really tough time trying to read that situation. I don't understand.
It would be a shame, man, because I want to see Lingard carry that rock. I want to see what he could bring to this team, man. Because I mean, not even just going by his 5-star, man, but just, I mean, if you guys looked at his high school tape, he's special. You know, he's very, very special. But I just feel it's going to be once again. Do you think?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Dante.
Yeah, he says, do you think the Pitt win was a turning point the staff will heed to? Do you think the staff gets the importance of this FSU game? I
think they definitely get the importance of the FSU game, Dante. The problem I have with saying it was a turning point, no matter what they say about the chain, and even the players talked about it, about the chain is somehow that became a rallying point for them this week, that they were going to be as strong as a bike chain and it's made of hard steel. And Manny was talking about it, all this in his post-game talk, that you would like to think it's a turning point, but I thought the Virginia win was a turning point too. And how did that turn out for us? So it's hard for me, Dante, to say for a fact that it's a turning point, but I like to think that it is.
Yeah, one thing that I want to see is consistency, frankly, Dante. And I think the staff 100%. I think Manny understands 100% the importance of this FSU game. As far as everybody else, they should understand. I mean, So I think they understand that it's a rivalry and it's going to be a crazy environment over there in Doak. But I haven't seen the consistency yet this year, because like Big Dog said, man, I felt really good to a certain extent after the Florida game, going into North Carolina, especially after a bye week.
And we crapped the bed.
we crapped the bed. Then, we saw, obviously it was Bethune-Cookman, so you can't really put too much weight into that game. But I mean, we looked good. I mean, we haven't beat Bethune-Cookman. Well, I think what was it, 63-0, big dog, and in recent years, we've
never
beat them
that bad.
We never beat them that bad
ever.
So, right,
four times we played them.
Well, exactly. Right, exactly. So I mean, that was good. And then you had the Central Michigan game. So then I brought you back down, and then you had the I mean, you have the Virginia game, amazing, and then you have the Georgia Tech game, and then now you have this game. We'll see what happens against FSU. We're just this is a seesaw, man. It's like a roller coaster. It's going like this right now. So I can't say that we turned the corner at all. Frankly, I need to see consistency. I need to see how we're gonna do in FSU, and let's just say we come out with a win over there in Tallahassee. Are you gonna think we turned the corner? Because I'm still not gonna know whether we turned the corner or not.
Right.
Because I don't know what we're gonna do against Duke and Louisville. Like this FIU should be a sure win, but Georgia Tech should have been a sure win.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, we never know team to team who's going to show out. Martin Dubé had a great question about Marcus Dumerville and why is he low on Miami. Miami really didn't recruit him that hard. I think that was part of Miami thought he was definitely going to Oklahoma. And so they started moving other people up on the list. I think Dumerville sort of took that as a negative. But at the same time, Dumerville was showing signs of going to Oklahoma. So I don't know. I think that's why Miami was a little late to the party on Dumerville, and that's why I think he's kind of low on Miami. And obviously 4-4 doesn't help.
Yeah.
And somebody else was asking about Finley. Yeah, Finley's a senior. He's done after this year. So 247 Kane said, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. I see there's no brown paper bag."
Yes, sir. No brown paper bag, baby.
All right, guys. You wanna go ahead and let's start signing it off.
Let's go ahead and start signing off, man, because we got football starting in just under 15 minutes. We got to start.
And Wholesome has his
I'm not sure if he's doing it today or not.
Okay.
At 1, but this gives us time to arrange our fantasy lineups and get ready for NFL football Sunday.
Yeah, man. I heard Keenan Allen might be a scratch, so I have Keenan Allen on a couple of my teams. So
right, so yeah, we got to get to that, man. All right, guys. Before we sign off, if you're new here, please subscribe. If you're watching us on Facebook, check us out on YouTube, and if you're watching us on YouTube, go check us out on Facebook at Junior and the Big Dog. New here, subscribe, hit that notification bell every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing our live shows as well as going live of the next day of whenever the Canes do play at 11 in the morning for our reactions and our reviews. So hit that like button as well before you guys go ahead and get out of here, and hit that like button if you're watching this on the replay. And yeah, man, if you guys want to support the channel, PayPal link will be in the description. I know you guys are used to seeing our PayPal link and our Twitter and all that stuff. For some reason, StreamYard erased all of that. So I have to get back on that, and that will be in the next live stream, man. Join us on Thursday. We're going to preview the rivalry game against FSU. Beck coming with the wife because she's a Seminole graduate. She's an alum. It's always beef. So there's going to be a bet going on live. Make sure you come in here on Thursday at 7 to go ahead and see that for yourselves, man. But I think it's been a great show, man. Canes coming off a great win on the road against Pitt, and hopefully we keep this momentum going heading into Tallahassee, man. So
yes, sir.
Anything you want to say, Big Dub, before we go ahead and get out of here?
Utah Kane had a good point about Jalar Holly and the energy he's always bringing to the sideline. Hey, big man can have some moves dancing, though.
Moves. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
A big man can dance.
Yeah,
he reminds me of Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
You guys remember Sugar Hill Gang from back in the day? There was a couple of big guys, and they could move too.
Yeah.
So, God, I'm aging myself.
It's all good.
By the way, if you all don't know, Sugar Hill Gang were like one of the pioneers. They were even before Run DMC. They were like the first rap group that ever had a number one hit back in like late 70s. I think it was 79. Rapper's Delight, which I can still sing, by the way, which I'm not going to do. You guys don't want to hear me rapping.
So, yeah, man, we're go ahead and signing off, man. With that being said, guys, it is and always will be all about this you.
It's always all about this you. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.